Hey YouTube, how you doing? So today I thought I would do a reaction and just kind of discussion about the Diablo 4 live stream that just happened, or it happened earlier today. And I did kind of listen in. I was listening in on my other monitor while I was working. So I do know the main gist of it, but I did want to just kind of go back and just talk about it on YouTube and just with whoever is interested. Um, and yeah, I'm definitely going to skip kind of the slower, boring bits. I'm just here to listen about more about the game and, um, yeah, just learn more about Diablo 4 because I'm super excited for this game and, it cannot come out soon enough, right? All right. Anyways, let's just get started. Zoom out. That's a cool. Lilith looks cool. I do. I don't know if people have noticed this, but it's kind of cool that they're definitely theming it around the Diablo 2 that Resurrected that just came out last year with kind of having like a frontal picture of the main bad guy, right? Like in Diablo 2, it shows the skeletal face of Diablo and so forth. And then there was one for Baal and Mephisto. Anyways, okay, let's start. Um, And this is the YouTube version, so I know they replayed the. We've already reacted to this, so. And they're muted.
I'm joined here by Joe Shelley, who's the game director
There we go.
for Diablo 4, and then I have Joseph Pipora, who's the associate game director of Diablo 4. Obviously, this is like I said, our first live stream here.
That's right.
Live at Blizzard right now that we're doing for Diablo 4.
Live in the cave.
Live in the cave.
We're here.
You guys are seeing it for the first time. This is our brand new studio that we'll be doing live streams from going forward.
Pretty cool cave.
You probably recognize some familiar things in the background as well. We have like Baal back here from the Diablo 2 Resurrected commercial that we actually did with Simu Liu and Winston Duke, which is really cool. We got like the giant Diablo skull in the background. Our skate deck, I'm like trying to point in random directions right now as I look at myself on
I
this
wish I could
monitor.
afford some of this stuff.
Lilith right here. And what's cool, and behind Joe's head, we actually have a giant treasure goblin.
Yeah, treasure goblin.
It's the mascot.
Oh, it's pretty. Yeah. Sneaking up on
for
me.
Team Diablo there, especially.
This better be in Diablo 4.
Blizzard. But as you guys know, we've been doing developer quarterly update blogs since the announce back in 2019 with Diablo 4. And this is kind of our new format going forward. We're actually going to be doing more and more developer update live streams as we
this is loud enough for you guys.
Launch for D4 and even post-launch. But this gives us the opportunity of being able to connect with the community, hear from the devs, straight from them, through a fun format like live streams. So please.
I'm going to pause it for a second. I usually don't pause during this stuff, but I just did want to say, I do think live, what was I saying? Live broadcasts like this, I prefer this. I guess blogs are good too for more like data and learning stuff. But it is cool to see the people like behind the scenes who work on the project just chat. And I actually think this is becoming more of a trend. I played a little bit of New World, and I know they do that a lot. Amazon, they've been doing that a lot, and people seem to like it. And I know other MMOs and stuff, and I know Final Fantasy does that kind of stuff. So I think it is a cool trend that developers are starting to like just kind of chat about games to their player base because, yeah, it's just a cool thing. I mean, we were the first. I feel like gamers and nerds are kind of the first people on the internet to have this more community-like things. So it's a good thing.
Please excuse our mistakes and slip-ups. I promise you we'll have them. That's the best part about doing live streams and so forth.
The live part.
The live part, exactly. But at the same time, what's great about these is that you guys will be able to hear more and more from the developers behind the scenes and hear their stories about how they are working on the game and what they're working on. So in future live streams, we'll have more information and more details about Diablo 4 before we head into launch. But yeah, I know we have a lot of stuff that we actually did announce over the past week. And Joe, I think it would be like a great opportunity for us to kind of dive in and kind of talk more about like what's occurred over the past couple weeks.
Yeah, the past couple weeks have been, really the culmination of the past year of getting the game, getting all the content into the game, testing the game. We've had test after test this year, internal tests, the closed beta endgame test, which was, we wanted to test our endgame to make sure that we have a chance to tune
I
it
can't
and
wait for that
polish
stuff
it
to be
before
not
launch.
NDA anymore, so we can
Better to
actually know
test
what's
it
going on.
before-
As
before
early as
launch.
possible, right?
Including the previews, the press previews that we did. Some of the press got to play, and community got to play a little bit before the Game Awards, and then of course we had the Game Awards moment that really.
So I think I'm going to
capped off the
fast
year
forward a little bit because I'm
and,
not going to react to this whole
brought in-
thing. This is just kind of them giving an intro. I don't want this video to be too long anyways.
You pre-order it, you're gonna get early.
So this is the
access.
pre-orders. I kind of
Exactly.
discussed this in a
pre-ordering the
previous
standard
one.
version of the game, comes with benefits.
I'm fine with pre-orders.
Within Diablo 3.
It's
Diablo
cosmetics,
Immortals,
right? As long as it's no power, it's fine.
And
for
of
me.
course, it comes with the a mount in D4.
I'm excited to see more of the horses in
and
Diablo
I think one of
4,
the
or
coolest
just like
things
our
is
mounts.
This World of Warcraft
You know,
mount.
cosmetics are cool, right?
And
You
I
want
have
to
to
look
give
cool.
a huge shout out to the WoW team here. They absolutely killed it. I've been using this around Valdraxxus myself while playing Dragonflight. It just looks so cool. And it does come with the pre-ordering the game in itself. And if you get pre-order PC, you actually get it now. And if you pre-order on console, you'll end up getting it at launch with console when you can link your Battle.net accounts.
Yeah, and that mount is based on a character in Diablo 4.
Yes. Spoilers.
I remember hearing this. Yeah. So apparently, pause it for a sec. So apparently, there's a boss, probably a little more gruesome than the WoW version. That's WoW isn't as gruesome as it's not rated M, right? So, but something like that's going to be in Diablo 4. So that's pretty cool. Right. And I think at this point,
Yes, there's really cool cosmetics in the Battle Pass, but no power.
they definitely start to explain the Battle Pass, and I'll be honest, I kind of want to skip over this because I think a lot of people kind of know what the Battle Pass is, and I honestly think from everything they've explained, it's not player power. It's just they just kind of discussed. I guess I can play a little bit of it, but
and then the next big thing that I do want to also mention, of course, with the pre-ordering all the different games, is the collector's box. And I know we've seen a lot of chatter about this.
So I kind of skipped over, but basically, if I'm guessing you've read about the all the battle, the battle pass is the different deluxe ultimate edition of all the Diablo games. And I'll just say that buy what you want to buy. It's mostly cosmetic, so if you're tight on money, buy the cheapest one. If you have money to spare, or it's your favorite game, for me, it's one of my favorite games. So I indulged and buy the expensive one. If it's a game I'm not sure on that I'll like or want to play, then I usually buy the standard. But just buy the one you want. They've repeated multiple times that there's no player power behind the passes or anything. And even though I think if you pre-order or whatever, you get a 4-day head start, it's not a part of the season. And I'm not even a big, I play the seasons for fun, but I'm not a competitive season player. And this is preseason. So you basically get 4 days head start of preseason, which I don't believe, I guess you'll know the layout of the game 4 days faster than other people. But yeah, I think it's fine. I think people need to chill about 4 days you're cheating. I guess I'm a casual player, so maybe I'm not that demographic that cares about 4 extra days. I'm more about, nice, 4 extra days. I get to play. My release date is the 2nd instead of the 6th. So, all right. Anyways, enough on that.
All the cool items and so forth in it. We did want to.
This is where they go into this, and I think this was the big thing is they were just advertising their.
We did want to clarify in the pricing of the collector's box. Right now, it is priced at $96.66.
$96.
And it will be available on the Gear Store in North America, EU, UK, and Latin America after the stream itself. And then in Australia, New Zealand, and in Korea, they will have those available at select retailers.
The artwork's beautiful.
For people to actually pre-order as well. So there is going to be options here for people to check out or purchase the actual collector's box. There is one other question that I know that a lot of people are have asked about, hey, does this actually come with a copy of the game? It doesn't. This is just a collector's box of all the items that are inside, like collectible items that people would want related
Pause
to.
it again. So I know this is a controversy, and everyone seems to agree, is collector's edition boxes have never not had the game. So it is kind of weird that they're like, yeah, we're just not going to give you the game when you buy this expensive box. I guess it's because the standard game is 60. What is it? I think it's $60, the standard. And then this box is only 96. So that means you're paying $30 for all this I'm guessing all of this is, a book, candles. It's expensive. So it really probably does, with everything that's in there, equate to 100. And if they gave you the game, they'd have to make this collector's box like what, $200, and that might deter people from buying it. And I guess the other big reason I could see them not wanting to have a game in there is because at least from I've heard from like World of Warcraft and other games, when you get the collector's edition, it can arrive late, or you don't get like your pre-order code or whatever because you're buying the collector's edition, so that people complain like, hey, where's my collection box? For example, for Diablo, I want to play the open beta, but I haven't gotten my collection box yet, or collector's edition box. What gives, right? So maybe they're deciding, oh, we'll just sell the collector's edition stuff separately from the game so people can still pre-order whatever version of the game they want. And it's digital, right? So there is no physical, I'm guessing, right? There's no physical version of the game. There's this collector's box, there's just stuff. So maybe that's why they did it, is because they would get all these complaints about not having their collector's box like, early enough for open beta, to have their code for open beta or whatever. I don't know. I've never done a collector's edition box. They're really cool, but too expensive. And I have too much crap anyways. So that's this whole discussion. So I'll skip over a little more because I don't want this to go too long. Beautiful art.
Happy couple, right?
The Anarius Lilith combo here. Essentially this. So
this is just them showing it all off. Oh, they replayed it again.
And I think like the cinematic showcase
for a long time. I think back to the scene with Tyrael in the World Stone and how his wings were represented there. The way that they can move, they have kind of this quality that I don't think I've seen any other wings, angel wings, that are represented quite this way. They're just incredible.
Yeah, they feel very iconic to our angels in Diablo, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And then, of course, they're not just visually cool. They're also functional. You can see in the cinematic we just showed, when he lands, he actually impales a number of fallen off screen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, this is honestly one of my favorite.
I will say they made Anarius pretty much a badass, and I will agree. I guess they almost have like tendril wings. It's very. I do like that I love Diablo's like thoughts or aesthetic of what an angel is. I mean, I'm not a religious person at all, but I still think like it's almost, I don't know if maybe this will be controversial. Whatever. It's like when you think about angels and demons, they're basically mythological beings, right? From myth. We don't know if they're real or not. And I love Diablo's take on that, on the angel. It's, because I'm pretty sure in like the Old Testament and stuff, angels are supposed to be scary, like threatening, and like, oh gosh, I'm not going to look up pictures because I don't know what weird stuff will come up on Google. But they're supposed to be intimidating, like these almost alien-like beings, and I do think at least this gives it some sort of. They're not these beautiful half-naked angel people. They're well, at least in Diablo's, covered hood, you don't see their face. There's these beings of light. And instead of like, they're wings, but they're definitely more almost like octopus arms, right? Like they can control them. They're like, it's almost like an angel has how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So about 10 arms plus his regular arms. It's interesting. It's a cool dynamic for
parts where he's just like coming down and the fallen are in awe. And obviously he's just impaling them. And his feet landing on the ground and like the amount of impact he has.
Yeah, the weight of his landing was cool. Makes him seem heavier than he
just
looks.
Insane. He's you can tell he's got something on his mind. The sound and like the resonance are all tuned to the crystal arch, and it's almost like you're hearing his unique.
Pause again. I am excited. I hope they do go into detail with Anarius and Lilith. Just the war and the story of them. Because it's funny. I sometimes watch other people's reactions, and it's funny how many people are just like, I watch some YouTube myself, and it's funny how everyone thinks that was Tyrael. Everyone's like, "Oh, look, it's Tyrael." And actually, at first, I kind of thought that, but yeah, if you kind of knew the story, I guess maybe you wouldn't if you knew the story more. But I do hope they kind of explain Anarius and Lilith's story, because I do think of the hardcore Diablo fans probably know exactly what that scene, that whole cinematic was. But I've heard so many people thinking that was Tyrael being a badass. Which, I mean, a lot of the angels look very similar, right? So maybe they thought he got a redesign or something. But yeah, when you realize that it's like the father and the mother of Nephilim or humankind, it makes it more tense and interesting, right? So, anyways,
sound.
This new crafting feature that we're bringing online.
But
this is kind of what I wanted to see was the gameplay. Oh wow, it's dark.
A while ago, but we weren't quite ready to reveal it at that time, and there was already so many things for us to discuss. So the Codex of Power is this new crafting feature that we're bringing online in Diablo 4. We're really, really excited about it. What it allows players to do is, as they are progressing through this, the massive interconnected world of Sanctuary,
it's really dark. They definitely went dark with Diablo. At least maybe it's my screen, but
and when they find these dungeons and they delve
it's dark.
into them,
I mean, that's great.
At the bottom of them, they're going to find what we call Codex of Power aspects. And an aspect in the Codex of Power is effectively a legendary power that's been put in this very particular form. And every one of these dungeons that players progress through in the overworld has a unique legendary power via the aspect found inside of them.
Yeah. What I love about that is that you can create a new character, and you can look at some of the powers that are available through these dungeons and say, okay, I really want to target this power. I'm going to go to this dungeon, get that power. So you're less dependent on I hope this power drops.
Absolutely. So there are limitations in place, but Joe, to your point, that is basically the intent here, right?
That is cool. That gives you a reason to collect them if you want all the powers from all the dungeons.
Go through those steps. But the Codex of Power is a way for them to basically take these aspects, and then they're able to go back to a crafter back in one of the major cities, our new occultist crafter, actually. And when they go to the occultist, they can hand off actually, we're showing it right now. Our sorcerer's friend has just earned aspect of overwhelming bolts, which is going to allow her charge bolts ability to go and fire 2 more projectiles with each cast.
Is this not at high quality? Oh my gosh, it's not. Oops. Fix that right now. I was like, why is the text so hard to read?
Close and personal melee lightning build. So this shotgun approach for her spender is really, really useful.
I will say, sorry, off tangent. It pisses me off that it doesn't. I have it set for always to do high def, but it doesn't. But okay, sorry.
Damage, definitely very good. Minor trade-off with the mana cost, but still what ends up being worth in the end. Here we can see that the sorceress is now heading over to the occultist and is going to be choosing to imbue this aspect into one of their existing items. So she takes the item. So you're looking at a lot of work in progress stuff that we're looking at here.
I just want to pause for a second here. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, they're imbuing, they got this power from a dungeon, right? And I'm guessing this is all work in progress, but item to modified Codex of Power. And this is the Codex. I should have said they were talking about the Codex of Power system today. At least a little bit. I wish they definitely talked a little less about, as you can see from this YouTube video, the first hour was kind of fluff, And I think it doesn't even go all the way to the end, or maybe it does. So it's only 15 minutes of game info, but that's okay.
Because this is a live cast, we'd like to be able to show some things off. You have an opportunity to go and basically override the existing legendary power on this and put in the new power they've just collected.
That's a cool, where you get to kind of choose your
deterministic way to kind of collect a series of these legendary powers that are out there in the game for them to find. But it's not all of them. You can only find some of the legendary powers overall in the game. There are over 120 dungeons in the game. So this represents a lot of really exciting and interesting.
It's crazy that there's 120
these areas. Also, you don't just find legendary powers for your class. You'll find legendary powers for all of the classes as you go, and some ones that can work on multiple classes as well.
That is cool. Really cool. I will say, I'm a class fantasy guy, so I'm definitely gonna probably
This is now available to all
Druid,
characters in
right?
that
Bear
realm.
form.
So,
I want the bear form
for the sake of argument, we're playing in
legendaries.
season 1.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe
every
that could be
character
different.
you
That
make,
could change.
Say you're playing your sorceress first, and you go find a whole bunch of werewolf, druid, based aspects as you're playing.
There we go.
When you go and you want to build a new werewolf character or a new druid character, you have all those aspects to play with from level 1 as soon as you want to start kind of like leveling up gear and getting into a position where you can make use of them.
That's
we
right.
love this idea of like making it so it's easier to go play with other builds.
Yeah, I love too how we've really been thinking about crafting in Diablo 4, and I love how the occultist figures into that crafting, right? Because, when we think about legendaries in Diablo 4, what we're really talking about is the legendary power. And that legendary power can be moved around. You can use it to upgrade rares, and the occultist is.
I don't know if this was answered yet, but can you have more than one legendary power?
All of that crafting.
Or is that
That's
unique?
right. So
I thought there was one where you can only have like one legendary power at a
we talked
time,
about
or maybe you can have a
Diablo
ton.
4.
Actually, I don't know.
One big change in Diablo 4 is allowing legendary powers of a particular type to roll on lots of different item slots, which gives players an interesting game of deciding where they want to place certain powers to make maximum use of them for their builds. Now, the Codex lets them put
The
them in
lightning
slots
source
that are
looks
appropriate
cool.
for that power,
I heard it's like a
which is
close
huge, right?
range, or that's what they
Another
say, I
limitation
think.
for the Codex power, in addition to not actually having the ability to collect all of legendary powers in the game, there's many, many more for you to find as you're playing through Diablo 4. Those powers also are always rolled at the lowest level of power possible. So it is always better for you to go find a legendary item that has the power that you're interested in, and then you can choose to use that item directly or extract the power from that item into an aspect
I
crystal.
guess that's a good idea. I mean, at least you can like test a weaker version of each legendary, so you kind of know what you want, right? And then you go look for the better
Yeah,
version.
I really like the idea that like no matter what, like finding stuff is still going to lead to like potentially the best opportunity of getting the most amount of power, but you still have the customization ability of being able to, I found this power, I would still like to use this on another piece of gear and add that within the Codex of Power, and you still can.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's great about it. Exactly. To
Oh,
that
it's like
point is
teleport
that
there.
You can have.
So it's like, I guess she has like a Melee swing for a generator and then a.
And you start to sort of make your build around it.
I'm guessing that's
with
like
the
Lightning
Codex of
Nova?
Power,
I'm not sure what that is.
You can acquire new gear, and in fact through essences as well. And you can extract. You can bring that power with you, so you can maintain that build. So you're not losing a core part of your build as you're getting new gear.
Yeah, and the fun thing about this is that we do want players, as they're beginning to go through their class fantasy, they're making their skill tree selections, they're going deeper and deeper into this, they're making their fun choices. We do want them to be able to still want to chase certain other powers. Like, for example, for this, kind of like melee-focused lightning build, the player here is
melee focus. It looked melee focused, like she wasn't really casting from range.
They really want for this build. Like, there's a lightning bolt legendary that is going to allow lightning warp legendary. It's going to allow them to have the spear basically orbit around them as part of combat, which, as you can see, would be awesome when they're teleporting into attacks of monsters and trying to do
That's
damage.
neat. I do think it's cool that you can be like a close range source. I want to be a close range necromancer. I want to be a death knight in Diablo, like a melee build.
Yeah, so
necromancer.
I know with the Codex of Power, this is kind of I'm
hoping there's a thing like that.
Coming in Diablo 4, and we'll have more information and more details regarding like different parts of the Codex of
Give
Power.
me the Necromancer and Druid
different,
legendaries,
powers you
man.
end
Come
up
on.
Finding and so forth to imbue onto
kidding.
actual weapons or
I like to be
gear
surprised,
in general,
I don't know, whatever.
here in the future. Plus other mechanics and other systems that I know people have been talking about and wanting to know more about here.
I think that's kind of it.
But, I did want to leave some time for some Q&A because I know we've had a lot of different questions that we've seen pop over the community.
Let's see what these
First
are.
one we have is like, what learnings did you guys apply from other Diablo games?
That's an interesting
Diablo
question.
4?
Yeah, this is a great question because when you think about the history of the Diablo IP, of all the games that have come, what we wanted to do is capture the things that players loved about each of those entries in the series. And when you think about, so we really thought about how Diablo 1 really established sort of this
Never played it.
tone of
I was too
gothic
young.
horror, this really dark tone that was quite different from other things that you would see at the time. And we wanted to carry that forward and recapture that in Diablo 4. And then when we look again, what do players love and hold close to their hearts in Diablo 2? And we really wanted to capture that essence of having systems that unfold out and have all of this depth and ability to look at it and nuance and think to yourself, okay, well, I'm really going to learn all of the details of this, and I'm gonna by having a deep understanding of this, I'm going to optimize my character in ways that people who don't understand these nuances will miss, and I will feel like, oh.
Sorry, I'm gonna pause it here. So is he talking about like item synergy and like skill synergy? Is that what he's talking about? Because like skills synergize. And I know when I was growing up, I didn't know the hell I was doing. And like when I played it again for Resurrected, you did definitely feel that the items and skills it just worked so well together. I know there were some weird items and stuff, right? But is that what he's going on?
I really am optimizing through this system in that.
Yeah,
really
the character's really like an expression of the choices you've made while you're leveling up and like making interesting.
I do agree with that.
Like,
that's a great point.
It's really, really important. A lot more of that power is based on decisions that players made along the way.
Character power on the character itself.
On your skill points, right? Rather than just an item set in Diablo 3.
And of course, when we think about Diablo 3, we think about the fluidity of combat, that sort of action aspect of the action RPG.
Okay, I agree with that.
It's really good to kill monsters in Diablo 3.
Yeah, and that's true.
Diablo 3 added so much to not just the player cast interactions. When you talk about hit frames and contact frames and all of the sort of nitty gritty of how that smoothness is achieved. But also the effects on the monsters exploding, various ways that monsters can die.
So an engine like Diablo 3, not like Diablo 2, good. Diablo 2's engine's 2001.
Make sure that we represented that in Diablo 4 and even at a grander scale. I mean, if you can't behead a fallen, then what are we even doing?
Exactly. What are we even doing here?
Exactly.
Okay.
Cool.
Well,
for the next question.
Hold on. Why didn't you mention Diablo Immortal? Didn't want to bring it up? Just saying. It's a good thing. I'm just joking. It's a good thing that he didn't bring up Diablo Immortal. I don't want anything from Diablo Immortal in this game. Please. I know there's like the Battle Pass, right? That's probably something similar, but you know what I mean. I'm glad he didn't bring it up.
And we have...
yes, thank you.
As I'm like dodging the camera and so forth.
How does the Battle Pass work? How long does it work?
How long does it go for? I know we talked a little bit about Battle Pass, but I think this is actually a really good question as well.
Hopefully this is something new.
It's a great question. So the Battle Pass will last for the entire duration of a season, and a season is 3 months.
Yep.
Makes sense.
You have plenty of time to work your way through the Battle Pass.
Wow, so $10 every 3 months.
Ooh. You're not going to run out of time.
Yep, and you'll be earning progress, like I mentioned before, by completing content in the season journey, but also just by like killing monsters, going through dungeons, completing quests. Like everything you do is be slowly earning progress towards your Battle Pass progress.
Yeah, and I know that because we talked about season journey beforehand and so forth, and again, that's just an opportunity for people who even don't have the Battle Pass will still have an opportunity of actually going through a season journey similar to what they kind of experienced with Diablo 3 and earning things and so forth from that specific moment as well.
Oh, I want to call it one more thing because I think there's another question here that sometimes is kind of asked, which is like, how long am I expected to play in order to like progress through the Battle Pass?
Okay.
And that's like close to like between 75 hours ish. Like it's in that kind of realm for the most part. And this is important because we don't want you to think like you hear that there's a Battle Pass.
75 hours in 3 months? I mean, that's totally fine. I mean, I'm not like a super hardcore player. I probably, I have work all day, and so maybe play 2 to 4 hours a night. 4 hours is like if I have nothing else I need to do. But it'll just say 2 hours. I'll just do 2. How many weeks is that? 2 times 5 is 20 hours. Let's just say I don't play 2 days out of the week, so 2 times 5. 20 hours. Yeah, so that's like a month of playing the game. So that's me casually. So like 2 hours a night, right? And like maybe skipping 2 nights. That means in a month I can get the Battle Pass done in a month with my play speed. Okay, that's not bad.
3 months. Am I expected to play every single day for 4 hours for 3 months? Like that's not how this works. We really want people to engage at a pace that is appropriate to you, and feel that you've got the time necessary to like really go through the whole thing.
Cool. Next question that we have here is, when does the first season of Diablo 4 actually start.
That's right. So we'll be able to share more details about the exact dates of when the season starts, along with more details about the first season.
When's beta?
Because it is part.
I don't know what this
Powerful than legendary items are. Now, legendary powers can show up on any slot. Unique items come
Don't
with
want
like
to go too long.
powerful.
What was this
Familiar
question?
Diablo items be returning to Diablo 4. Sorry, I'm like ducking around.
Oh
They
yeah, I think I
will.
saw this,
Joe, I
heard
think
this.
there's
Yeah, there will
Yeah,
be.
so, like, I mean,
They always
there's,
do that. They always
there are
kind
a
of
ton
bring back some of the
returning.
classics, like
so yeah, Ashako's coming back.
Shake-
Windforce
yeah.
is coming back. Grandfather's coming back. There's
yeah. I
there's
think those have been in all three
like Mage Fist is
games,
coming
at least that
back.
I know of. Maybe.
And these are unique items.
So,
right?
yeah, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, so the that's a really good call out. So there are legendary items we talked a little bit before. They're that have like really particular powers, and then there are unique items that are much more powerful than legendary items are. Now, legendary powers can show up on any slot. Unique items come with like a pretty fixed loadout of like types of affixes that could appear on that thing, and then what the special power is tied to the unique item on its own. And they're really they're difficult to find. They're really rare. They're fun chase items, and you can really build exciting builds around some of these things. But we've taken
cool.
a lot of the ideas from these items from previous games, kind of reinterpreted them to make sure they work with Diablo 4, but tried to retain that thematic essence to them. Like, it's been an exciting challenge for the team to kind of go after and try to bring in.
I thought that was my computer for a second there.
Diablo
I think that was
items
them.
returning.
And,
fan
and
favorite.
a lot of new things too. So there's a mixture of both, but you will see some returning favorites.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay,
And I think that is the end of our questions that we have there.
that's it. Okay.
Beginning of Diablo 4. For a while, you started with one of your classes, left click, basic skills.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of trouble with having that skill that we'd chosen for you. No, I think
Did I miss something?
Make a really interesting character for themselves. That we unveil that kind of slowly initially. Otherwise, we have a tendency to like get people like really like scared about making choices. Kind of slowly initially.
Gosh dang it! Did I
Otherwise, we
skip
have a
over
tendency to,
something?
like,
Hold on.
Diablo 4. I'm gonna throw it at Joe. I think.
Like,
Wait, okay,
like
let me just
sea vessels
stop
they use in
clicking past
combat,
it.
They just swarm all over the place. Often you'll find like you're in slick areas where it's raining when you have to actually encounter them. Like they're a super fun a group of monsters to fight. And they've got some neat, a lot of like they're brute, like has some like really neat abilities you have to like have trying to like dodge and avoid. They're very dangerous. So yeah, they're my favorite I think right now.
Nice. What's a fun fact you guys encountered while developing Diablo 4?
Oh, it was a fun fact. Okay.
Back developing Diablo 4. I'm gonna throw it at Joe. I think.
What do you
Sure.
think?
So a fun fact I learned while developing Diablo 4, that it is very important while we're allowing players to like make a lot of choices and they're thinking about the way they like make a really interesting character for themselves. That we unveil that kind of slowly initially. Otherwise, we have a tendency to like get people like really like scared about making choices, and they kind of clam up, which is obviously not what we want. We want people to like be able to engage with these kinds of features. So it's maybe not like a fun fact, but I think it was very interesting. We went through a lot of iterations to get to the right place. And I'm really happy with where we landed.
I like that. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to overload someone with something so complex that they kind of, when something's too complicated, they freeze up and like, this is too hard. This game must be too complicated. I don't want to play it anymore. So that's great. I think that's
I
good.
have to give a serious answer.
No, I'm sorry. I should have given I should have given.
I like that
No,
answer.
no. I think it's better.
Okay.
I think we
better,
went
folks.
through we went through a lot of iteration on the first skill when you start out in the very beginning of Diablo 4. For a while, you started with one of your classes, left click, basic skills.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of trouble with having that skill that we'd chosen for you, feeling like, well, I guess I should build a spec around this, because it's just you start with it, you're familiar with it, and it sort of constrained your ability to explore the skill tree.
Yeah. So like if Sork started with like Firebolt, for example, like a lot of people that were testing would just make fire like spec sorcerers. They wouldn't think about like trying other skills.
Interesting.
So
So
guess
we
that
ended up
could
going
make
with
sense.
a basic. We ended up adding, fairly late in development, a basic attack that you start with, so that when you get your first level up, you actually get to choose. Okay, well, which
That's a
spec
good
do I
idea.
want to start with, and of course you can respec within the skill tree.
I mean, I was going to pick whatever I wanted, but I can see
Yeah.
people being like,
I remember that.
I can
when
see
it
people
was
being like
originally
that.
and
damn, that's like super casual. I thought I was
test
casual.
internally and so
fix it.
forth. We get our own feedback from within the team of what people are
Neat.
actually doing from that end. Of course, and last but not least, the most controversial question: Team Inarius or Team Lilith?
Team Inarius.
Huh.
Even though I'm wearing my Lilith shirt.
I'm Team Inarius too.
It's actually really funny. I guess
He's
I
cool.
guess still Team Lilith. I think I'm still Team.
Okay,
I think I'm still.
Demons are
Team
cool,
Lilith,
but I always think the coolest characters to me from Diablo are definitely.
wow.
When I first met Tyrael in Diablo 2, I was like, damn, what a
I would
badass.
stay neutral here. I will choose.
Okay, I think that's it.
Diablo3.com from that side.
But you're not going to hear from us for a little while because we're all going to take some time off to be with our families for the holiday.
We've been thinking about and what we value. It's been awesome talking to press. I really can't wait.
Yeah, this is great. I definitely think this is cool. I know I kind of skipped over a lot of stuff. I just, I didn't want this reaction to be an hour, or my interaction with this video being, over. It's definitely, I definitely did a long video, but
you know what we're kind of
anyways,
where our heads are at. So
these guys were great.
I'm really excited about that. So thank you for sticking with us this long.
Looks like they've gotten some sleep.
Enjoy those things that happened over the course of this last couple months.
Yeah, and like I said, this is kind of the new way that we're going to be communicating out to the community through these developer update streams. We're
looking forward to another one. I'll
definitely
try to react to it.
Next year, we have way more information to reveal, including details early next year, about the open beta and when that will actually be starting as well. So again, thank you everyone for tuning in, and I just want to say happy holidays, and we'll see you guys next year from the Diablo team. Thanks again.
Yep. See you, buddy.
Nice. All right. Well, that was cool. Play some music while I'm like just thinking about it. I thought that was great. I definitely thought we learned. It was cool just to have them. I know it was a little light on the content, but I guess that's this is their first stream, so they kind of had to introduce that they were going to start doing this. And yeah, so I think it was cool. And yeah, let me know your thoughts about it. I was thinking if I should I know I was looking at Maxwell about so this is a website that kind of just showed these guys were able to test out the builds. And I know they were talking about the what is it called? The codex, whatever. Or the legendaries. Where you can change your legendaries, and I think at the bottom Oh, I can just do this. Whoops, I'm stupid. Okay. Here are some of the legendary aspects, and I did think this was kind of cool that these are some examples of those codex of power, or whatever the hell it's called. Legendary aspects. But see, these are some examples, so you can just kind of read. I'm not going to read through all of them, but there's defensive ones, offensive ones, so probably does stuff to your spells, like 30%. They pierce but do less damage, pierce 4 times. Some that increase your resource generation, utility, mobility. So yeah, I was looking at it because I was curious. But anyways, I'm not going to let this video go on too much longer. But yeah, this was me just kind of reacting to their first live stream. And I'll probably do more Diablo 4 stuff, just maybe videos or do some more things. I don't really edit. But maybe I'll just make a video of me going through some Diablo 4 lore and catching up on the lore of Diablo before the game comes out. Sorry, what a low energy. It's 1:30 in the morning. So anyways, yeah. Let me know your thoughts. I definitely thought it was interesting just kind of watching their thoughts, some of their Q&A stuff, and yeah. I'm super excited for Diablo 4, so yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.